This video is the ultimate old money, classy style fragrance list of all time, ever. If you're a gentleman who appreciates style, appreciates luxury, this is pretty much the fragrance list for you. We've got 10 fragrances, but I really kind of got carried away with this list and I really enjoy this style of fragrance. So we've actually got 5 honorable mentions. Let's get to the first honorable mention, which is Roja Dove's Scandal. This is not going to be the only Roja Dove on this list, just to be clear. So this is great. The only thing is that some of you are going to find this a little bit generic. This is totally in the style of an 80s man's aftershave. You're going to smell Brut in here. You're going to probably get whiffs of Old Spice. It's that kind of barbershop mentality fragrance, but just taken to a whole different level. And the quality is high, it's incredible, but the price point is, you know, it's quite an ask. Second honorable mention is this. This is Prada's, very stylish, incredibly clean. I swear to you, like the whole gimmick and the whole hype of Prada L'Homme is unfounded when you smell this. In my opinion, this kicks Prada L'Homme's ass. L'Homme is a one-dimensional fragrance and I'm sick of not talking about it. This is the full 3D version of Prada L'Homme, and if you enjoyed the hype of Prada L'Homme back in the day when Jeremy was sane and could actually make decent videos, take it one step further and get yourself a bottle of this. Some might find it a little bit too squeaky clean, a little bit too girly. Next one is Versace's Oud Noir. Absolutely great. It's kind of like a juvenile or kid-friendly oud wood. Absolutely amazing. And if you're new into this style, or you're sort of transitioning into this kind of old money style or classy style and want something that's still not too old and quite pleasant and especially very likable, then you got to check this out. But it might be too young for some of you. But if you're an old money kind of guy in your early 20s, you should maybe check this out. So next two fragrances are interesting because I feel as though they can be that old money style, but they are very aggressive fragrances. They're a little bit harsh for some. First one is Tabac by Aaron Terence Hughes, and the next one is Zaharoff Leather Tabac. Similar sort of fragrances, but different tricks, but they are very harsh fragrances. I'm not even the biggest fan of Leather Tabac by George Zaharoff, but the check cleared today, so it's in the list. So Leather Tabac is the official flanker of Tabac by George Zaharoff, which was to me like you take Tobacco Vanille, which is all fluffy and happy, Father Christmas, and then Tabac is like Father Christmas got a job, he's a CEO, he takes shit seriously. This is Father Christmas if he decided that he wanted a career fighting in the UFC. In fact, Edwin, could you pull up an image of what that would look like? Nice, that's this fragrance. This is not jolly anymore, and this is ho ho ho, but Father Christmas is the pimp of those ho ho ho's, and he will smack the fuck out of them if they don't do as they're told. This is an aggressive take on the Christmassy vibe of Tobacco Vanille, to a point where I'm not actually the biggest fan of it. And this is just the brisk and brash elements of Aaron Terence Hughes fragrances mixed in with tobacco. So, there you go. Now we're actually onto the list. At number 10, this is Narciso Rodriguez's Bleu Noir Parfum, making the debut on this channel. Now, this is kind of like Dior Homme original, mixed with the Valentino Uomo kind of thing, with like this really intriguing citrus element that is just balancing like on a tightrope, trying not to move too harshly. A huge improvement to me on the original Blue by Narciso Rodriguez. I really like that fragrance, by the way, but I never wanted to pull the trigger. This, on the other hand, when I smelt it, was like, okay, that's what I'm going to go for. It's got the classy element of the Dior Homme line, but it's got this really interesting, like, rubbing, like a little bit of citrus on the iris powdery elements that really brings it together. Only issue with this is the projection and longevity. Number 9 is, and this is becoming a meme now, this is from George Zaharoff, this is Evening Mystique. Look, I had to hide for 9 months that I liked this fragrance. I'm going to be putting this on a lot of lists. A really, really great fragrance that smells to me like a new house. This is totally going to work with the autumnal versions of Old Money because this is a very, very brown sepia tone. This is like an old 16mm take on autumn. It's quite nostalgic for me, and it smells like you're moving into a brand new house on the dankest and wettest of autumn days, and it's absolutely amazing. We'll totally go with the Old Money look. Next up is this. This is Spice Bomb Infrared. This is very warming. So Spice Bomb is great, really enjoyed the original. I like Spice Bomb Extreme as well, but this is somewhere in the middle. This is a warming, pleasant fragrance in the autumn. This is totally going to work with a turtleneck. This could totally work if you're like carrying around like a brown satchel or something like that. This is totally that Instagrammable men's autumn look in a bottle. Very pleasant, very good. If we want to talk pure CEO, if we want to talk pure decadence, pure wealth, we've got to talk about Enigma by Roja Dove. I will die on the hill that I much prefer the Parfum Cologne version of this to the original. I think the original is fine, but this just gives it a little bit more oxygen, a little bit more elements to breathe. For me, the original Enigma was cloying. This, many people have said that this smells like white woods mixed with cola, and they're not, but trust me, it works. This is going out to the theatre or to a Michelin star restaurant. Next on the list is this is Ombre Leather Parfum. Now I love Ombre Leather Original, and I was debating whether I was going to go for this or not, but I don't know, this just seems a little bit more friendlier, this seems a little bit more GQ, this seems a little bit more fashionable than Ombre Leather, because Ombre Leather is a little bit too much of a statement piece, and for me you can only really wear it in an all black kind of outfit. Ombre Leather Parfum has a little bit more of a breathability, has more of a wearability if you want to wear chinos, if you want to wear jeans, if you want to wear a burgundy coat, if you want to wear a navy coat. This has the oxygen in it. This is a super clean, leathery fragrance, but the oxygen in here gives it a freshly cleaned linen smell as well. So the next two are going to be a two-part knockout punch with the note of vanilla. These are similar, but yet they have one big difference. Okay, so these are sandy vanilla fragrances, kind of a lost genre in the world of fragrance. So Imaginary Author's Memoirs of a Trespasser smells like you're in a bookshop and you're eating the highest quality vanilla ice cream. It gives the vanilla a dryness with the sort of the books, and let's pretend there's a fire on and you can smell the papers drying out, or you can smell like the dryness of the books, of some of these really old books, and that's great. Vanilla Flash does the same trick. It dries out the vanilla, but it smells more like you're eating that vanilla ice cream in a desert. In fact, Edwin, could we see the comparison of this? This one, you're in an old, beautiful bookshop, there's a fire going, it's very decadent, it's very pleasant, there's some nice old music playing, maybe there's some coffee going, and you're eating a wonderful vanilla ice cream. This is you're in a desert, there isn't much hope for your survival, but you do have that nice vanilla ice cream. Similar ideas of drying out the note of vanilla and making it less sweet, less juvenile, and more mature and more interesting, but they have two extremes. Both totally work with the old money aesthetic, but it's to which the extreme that you want to go for. Next one is this. We're going to go a little bit lighter, a little bit more citrusy for this one, and sort of for the next one. This is Eau Sauvage Parfum Christian Dior. This is Eau Sauvage Parfum by Christian Dior. You can still wear this in autumn and winter, no doubt, but this has that neroli, has that citrus. It's really something. This smells like a 1940s, 1950s gentleman. This is true old money style. This is the oldest smelling fragrance of all of these fragrances. This is a recreation of one of the most popular Christian Dior fragrances from the 1940s, 1950s era anyway. So you're going to smell, you know, vintage when you wear this, and it might just be a little bit too much for some, but this is lemon, bergamot, citrus, that old school style. Next one isn't exactly citrus, but it's in the same vein as the last fragrance. This is Royal Oud by Creed, and this is actually my scent of the day, and it's fantastic. I was actually saying to somebody recently, when you first spray this on, it just smells like peppers and pine trees. Not very pleasant at all. And for some people, that's going to not really work at all. When you let this dry down, this is one of the most confident, masculine, oudy, peppery fragrances of all time. It will totally make you feel as though you're in command and in control. I recently had a meeting to do with one of my future film projects, and I wore this. In fact, I think I wore this whilst directing From Here to There, which is my short film. You can check the link in the description if you want to go see that. This is my Boss Mode fragrance. And now, what is my ultimate old money, classy style fragrance at the moment? Well, it's a recent purchase, so there is kind of recency bias, but this is just something else. It's just fantastic, just brilliant. This is Diptyque's Oud Paleo. You put this on, you kind of feel as though it's like an oud rose fragrance, which is something that's quite common in the world of fragrances. But as this dries down, there is this powdery, sweet sexiness unlike any other. It is the powdery sexiness of Dior Homme, of Royal Oud by Creed, of Dior Homme Intense, of those kind of sexy, sweet, masculine fragrances that are very mature and very confident, and it's rolled up into one scent. The dry down on this is one of the best dry downs I have smelt in many, many years. So please, when you put this on a little card and you smell it and go, oh, George is wrong about that. No! I forbid you to put this on a card. It's the same trick with Oud Wood. You put it on your skin, leave it just not even that long, 5-10 minutes, smell your wrist, and you tell me that this is not something truly special. I can't believe that we did it, but we did it. Those were my top 10 with 5 honorable mentions, old money, high class style, gentleman fragrances. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you did, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.